everybody, it's me again, Kenny K, and I wanted to do a Friday the 13th 10 things that I think are weird, obnoxious, I hated, or was not, wouldn't, I wouldn't put in the movie. So that's part one. It's from, this will be of the movie's part 1 to 4, final chapter. Now later on we'll do a part two from Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, to Jason Takes Manhattan. Now, first thing, when Pamela Voorhees gets decapitated, you can clearly see the knuckles, the hairy knuckles of Tom Savini doing like this, reaching towards the head to feel like the body is trying to feel if it's got a head still, and they they didn't notice that. I think he even has a ring on. I thought that was that was stupid, but that was low budget, beginner's mistakes, and but I always thought, okay, that's funny. I think Pamela Voorhees should, wax a little bit more. Um, Also, the puzzle of how old Jason is. I just can't. So the movie sets, the first one sets in 1965 or something, somewhere in the 60s, right? And a year before that, I'm guessing Jason drowned, and then the mom takes her revenge. But then we go back to 1980, and the Pamela Voorhees wants to take revenge again. But how old is he? When at the end, Alice, the final girl, gets pulled under, which was a real thing that happened to her, but nobody saw it, by a fairly young boy looking Jason. I got the photo with the signature of Ari Aster, who played Jason, because Tom Savini was against that scene, because it would be so stupid that Jason still lives. And in a way, he's right, because where was he? Why didn't he went to his mom? Why didn't he? I mean, it's big. Crystal Lake is big, but you can find somebody, right? And you can, if somebody sees a child, they'll call. I'm guessing your mom or your fucking dad, maybe he's got a daddy Voorhees, finds you. But I never guessed how old he was. But then, because you have part two, which is only 6 months later, and then when he kills Alice, it's 5 years later. So how old is this guy? I don't know. I really don't know. It's a continuity error, but this movie had a lot of problems with continuity error. Also, the Paul kill disappearance, Paul Holtz in Friday the 13th Part 2. It's something that puzzles me every time I see the movie. I'm guessing he died, because she asks to the Amis, where is Paul? Where is Paul? Nobody replies. So I'm guessing he's dead. But we see him taking our Amy Steele out of the cottage with a supposedly dead Jason out of the cottage. And then we get another dream sequence, but we know that the first dream sequence was real. Was this real? We also see Jason with a beard and fucking hair on the pieces where he can grow hair. Not on the piece where he's like completely deformed. But did Paul attack Jason, but it just doesn't make any sense because in the third one we see that he leaves the shack, he takes out the machete that that was struck in his collarbone. So it doesn't make any sense. But there is a poster where they a scene, a poster or a scene, a poster where you see Paul Holt in the shack like this with blood. So he must have been killed. I don't know. And the doggy, the little doggy, must have been killed too. It's weird. Continuity errors. Uh, that's what I said. It was one of my. Was a fake out in part two real? Was that real or not? Because then, like I said, you can think about the fact that Paul tried to defend. That would be an interesting idea because he tried to defend Amy Steele. I'm not sure what his character or her character's name again was in the movie. Ginny. Ginny. He tries to defend Ginny, but he gets killed for it. But then the logic is that he goes back to his cabin and he goes back and takes a little rest and takes the fucking machete out of his collarbone and then goes away. Also, the thing is that she went to the shack. Why didn't she tell the police there's a shack out there with at least five bodies, including a fucking deputy or sheriff? So, yeah. Oh, that one is just the most insane one. Jason the Rapist in part three. So basically, we when that final girl, I never remember her name. I just don't. I want to see that movie again because I like it. It's cheesy fun. It's not the best one. Let's say I like part four is the best one. Part two, part one, and then part three. Part three is cheesy fun. Yeah, but Jason apparently raped the girl, the final girl. I mean, with his complete fucked up face without hair because he didn't have. It's in one movie that he had hair, in all the other movies he was bald, and he was already wearing the clothes. It seems that he was wearing the clothes that he stole from the hanger because we see him in part three stealing these clothes when and you see him in the hillbilly outfit, you know, the hillbilly outfit. I'm just saying that with the pleated shirt and the suspender pants. He he takes her, he rapes her, and then leaves her behind and gets the fuck away. So I would listen. Hey, Jason, between you and me, we're both men. We need a little something, something. So, right? But then leaving her alive. That's not his style. He does not leave people alive. So that story just didn't compute. That didn't compute. Who the fuck came up with that? I mean, okay. Um, oh yeah, the endless 3D attempts in part three. I think I just I did a review of what was the movie. Oh shit, I forgot the title. Slasher movie from '84 or something. It's basically a slash. Yes, '84 because it took inspiration of this movie, Friday the 13th Part 3D, and Jaws Part 3D. Jaws Part 3D being a reckless piece of shit. And this one did so hard to use the 3D effects, you know, with the clothing line pole, putting it back in place, and you see the pole sort of going to your face, or a snake that comes out of the rabbit's nest and goes in your face, or the guy who has an eyeball of something, creature or maybe man, is putting it in your screen. It was constantly using that 3D effect, and I don't like that. It was too much. The kills should be in 3D. Like when the guy, the crush of the final girl, gets his head squeezed and the eyeball pops out. That's a nice. That's a good one. That's a good one, right? And then with the spear, you see the spear coming, and then towards her eye. That's a good one. I like that he just dropped the spear and went like a player, like this. I like Richard Rooker. He moved. He didn't move like Frank. He moved like I'm undefeatable. That's how he moved. Nobody's gonna kill me. And Ted White, I liked him because he was visceral. He said, "Playing is done. I'm gonna kill everybody." That's why I never thought. Okay, that's why I always thought. That's why I like in Friday 13 Never Hike Alone 2, where Jason goes berserk in that hospital, in that clinic, and kills everybody. And that movie that said that sort of took his inspiration of these films. It was a way better. It used it for minimal. It basically only used it for the kills. So like throwing a hatchet, slamming somebody with a sledgehammer. That was interesting. You don't need to have an entire movie made out of 3D. That was frustrating as hell. Also, the barn. Why the barn was. Now, let's just think about Friday 13 Part 3, The Barn. For some reason, it was the hub of killing everybody, and everybody needed to be in the barn, everybody needed to destroy the barn. You got these bikers who want to destroy the barn, you got Jason killing people in the barn, and Jason always trying to lure people to the barn. He lured Shelly in the barn and killed him right there, slitting his throat. He almost lured that hippie guy. Eventually, he lures them, but his wife or girlfriend comes with him and see there's nothing wrong. But then you see him coming back. The barn. That was so. It was kind of frustrating because he had multiple set pieces. He had the house, which they use eventually, but you could have used more set pieces, in my opinion. The woods more, the house more, maybe a second house or so. Now I'm just guessing here, but you could have used more set pieces. The barn was so something weird, and I wouldn't say, oh, a barn. Yeah, that's a good place to hide and to stay in range of your victims, right? But they emphasized it so much that it became a little bit annoying or weird sometimes. The barn was the like God, you know, who decides to go to heaven or hell. Yes. Okay. Also, okay, what happened with the dog in part four, the final chapter, the golden retriever? I never understood what he jumps out of the mirror, but he doesn't. He's not thrown out of the mirror. He leaps and jumps out of the mirror, and they never see him again, which is weird. And it wasn't. They don't find his body, the dog's body. Now I'm guessing it just walked in the woods, but a dog, knowing a dog, he will just come back to the place where he lives, to Tommy Jarvis. Uh, but for some reason, the dog just disappeared, and the dog really wasn't thrown out of the window. The dog was just jumped out of the window because he was scared, and he didn't fall deep. He just, I think, the ground level. If that was a weird. Always that's like what happened with the mom of the Jarvises. But I know, okay, she's killed off screen. I know that. There's a deleted scene where also a dream sequence again where the sister of Tommy finds her mom in the tub full of blood, and she opens her eyes. Her eyes are completely white, and Jason is standing in the corner with, oh, sorry, my glasses, with a gash like this, and then goes after her. But that's all just a dream again. Yeah, the hunt for the killer. What was the name of the guy? I can't remember. The guy who was there in the movie in the final chapter that was hunting the killer Jason. He had all these snippets of him. He even had a snippet of him where Jason is attacking someone. God sakes, cameraman who took that shot, rest in pieces. Not in peace, but in pieces. I mean, he had all these snippets of paper, and what I don't understand, the movie is a one big continuation. The only movie that has 6 months, no, that has 6 and then 5 months apart is part one. Goes 6 months to kill Alice, and then 5 years later in part two. And the girl who he's looking for is the girl who gets killed by the shish kebab, killed a spear in, when she's having sex with her boyfriend in the back. That girl. And wouldn't be, I mean, she was killed in the house, and all these MEs were taking the bodies out of the house. Wouldn't she be one of the bodies? Wouldn't her family, wouldn't she be, wouldn't they be noticed? Yeah, sorry, your sister's dead, blah, blah, blah. That's a little bit sensitive, I know, but you know what I mean? Apparently, this guy thought, oh, she's still alive. I'm gonna try to find her. Uh, but I have to watch out for this guy, Jason. Okay, okay. And then, as last I'm doing this, ending with this guy, the looking for Jason guy, and when he's in the cellar, he yells to her, "Oh, get the hell away!" Jason is attacking him with this rake, this little rake thingy, and he's yelling, "I'm dying! I'm dying here! I'm dying! I'm dying here!" That was so funny. Sorry, it's actually not a funny scene. A man is dying. I mean, but it was so funny to see how he was saying his lines and the way he was saying it, and the girl didn't look back at all when he's saying, "I'm dying." Oh, that was so these are 10 things that there are multiple things that I can put on paper, but these are a few of the 10 things that I'm not gonna do them all, but these are a few things that I found weird, obnoxious, or just plain funny. Now, or puzzling for me, like the age, the dog, was the dog killed, this and that and that. So I'm gonna do part 5 and to part 8, and that's gonna be a doozy because there's a lot of problems in that one. So see you next time for that one. Subscribe and let's have some more fun, okay? See you later. Bye.